Revenge films.
I got married a few months ago to my husband. We got married in a rush, but we were able to have a small wedding. I quit my job, but I'm busy visiting my father. Dad, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a little better today.
My father is sick and has been told he doesn't have long to live. When I was still dating my husband, I had my doubts about marrying him because of it. But then he said,
Let's show your father you in your wedding dress.
"You're right." And my husband pushed me to get married. When I told Dad that I was getting married, he was very happy. And on the day of the wedding, when he saw me in my wedding dress, he shed tears of joy, and it turned out to be a very nice ceremony. The wedding ceremony ended without incident, but Dad's condition deteriorated after that. He was getting weaker by the day.
Hey, Becky, I need to talk to you about your sister.
Yeah? What is it? Dad began to speak seriously. My sister was paralyzed on one side in an accident a few years ago and is now confined to a wheelchair.
After I die, I want my legacy to go to your sister.
As for Dad, he must be more concerned about my sister, who is physically disabled. I'd do the same thing if I were in his shoes. I know, that was my original plan. Give it all to her.
I'm sorry, Becky.
I'm fine. I can work and I'm married. Don't worry about it, Dad. I agreed to Dad's offer and promised to give up my inheritance.
I can't leave you anything. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I have my husband.
Right.
Soon after we made this promise, Dad passed away. My sister and I were prepared for his death, but he raised us alone and we loved him, so we were shocked and couldn't stop crying when we saw him for the last time. After he passed away, I was so busy with the funeral and cleaning up the house.
I'm so sorry I can't help you at all, sis.
My sister, who was in a wheelchair, couldn't move as much as she wanted to, so she said this apologetically to me. "What are you talking about? You're helping me out just by being here with me. Come on, let's sort these out together." After sorting through the belongings, my sister and I shared our dad's mementos. As promised, I sold his house and land and inherited the money to my sister. She had no idea about our promise, and as soon as she found out that she inherited everything, she said,
This is so wrong, sis. You have to take your share too.
"Don't worry about me."
No, this is not okay. Even Dad would think this is wrong, I'm sure.
Dad and I talked about this, okay? You'll go through many hard and difficult times in your life that can't be changed because of the situation you're in. So use this when you really need to. To my words, she began to cry, wishing she had not had the accident. "Don't cry. I'm only a call away, so I'll rush to you if something happens. But I'd feel safer if you had it then if you didn't. So please accept it. Don't push away Dad and I's feelings."
If you say that, I have no choice but to accept it.
She cried to my words, but I managed to get her to agree on the inheritance. On the day we finished cleaning up, my husband and I dropped by my parents-in-law's house. "You must have gone through a lot." We knew my father didn't have long to live, and his last days were peaceful. "I'm glad you were able to be with your father until the end of his life."
By the way, what will happen to your father's inheritance? I'm worried about taxes and such.
"Oh, don't worry about the inheritance. I renounced it.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I made a promise to Dad that I'd give it all to my sister. Well, you know why." The next moment, I was knocked to the floor for some reason. It was so sudden I didn't have time to understand what had happened.
Do you know what you've done? Are you an idiot?
Ouch! Stop it! My husband was so upset he pulled my hair as he swung his arms around.
Stop it! What are you doing?
My father-in-law also tried to stop him, and then my husband made a shocking statement.
I was going to rebuild the house and live with my parents! Why did you renounce it?
He shouted and left without me. I was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. With a skull fracture, I had to live with bandages on my head for some time.
You sure you don't want to report this to the police?
Yes, I'm filing for divorce, so I'm fine. The doctor recommended that I report the incident, but I declined, considering the complications of the procedure. Immediately after getting out of the hospital, I hired a lawyer and went to my husband's house. I can't deal with you anymore. Contact me through my lawyer from now on.
Why am I the bad guy? This is all because you were stupid!
What do you mean, stupid? It's my dad's inheritance in the first place. It has nothing to do with you.
Your sister is fooling you! No one would renounce their inheritance!
I renounced it because I didn't want it.
You have your share too, don't you?
I said I renounced it because I didn't want it. I was saying the same thing over and over again, and the conversation wasn't progressing at all. What do you mean my sister's fooling me in the first place?
She's taking advantage of her disability and is going to live it up with the inheritance! As proof, she doesn't go out now!
When I told her my father and I promised to give her all the inheritance, she cried and she wished she never had the accident. She said she couldn't take it, you know? Besides, she can't just go out in a wheelchair whenever she wants to, can she?
She's just acting!
What are you talking about? Besides, she has the right to receive it. It's not yours.
What's the point of marrying you if we don't get anything?
When he said these words, I went back to talking about the divorce.
You deceived me! Pay me alimony!
He complained, but my lawyer said,
She's injured, and we have a medical certificate. We can go straight to the police, you know.
When we hinted about the police, he finally signed the divorce paper. In addition, the lawyer brought the divorce to the husband's fault for domestic violence and got him to pay me a small amount of alimony and medical expenses. My husband strongly refused, but my in-laws paid the money in advance for him. My in-laws, being sensible people, cried that they even pay for plastic surgery if it leaves marks on my face. I'm so sorry.
I'm so ashamed he's my son. I wish he'd take a lesson from you sisters and your father.
It's all right. Please don't worry about it. I left him and went to live with my sister.
Sis, welcome home!
Hi.
How's the new job?
Working full-time really is busy. I'm now a full-time employee at a company, and I'm enjoying living with my sister. When I returned home after my divorce, she was extremely depressed, thinking that it was her fault, and that she should never have received her inheritance. What are you talking about? I'm glad to know that he was the kind of person who'd go after my father's inheritance. She nodded modestly. We used our inheritance to change the living room and other areas to make life easier for my sister. She now enjoys cooking on her own. What's for dinner tonight? I'm starving.
It's miso soup! Mackerel simmered in miso sauce, pickled vegetables, and kimpira burdock.
Sounds delicious. Let's eat.
Okay.
Neither I nor my sister know what the future holds. But the time I have now with her is very precious. By the way, my ex-husband is no longer allowed in his parents' house until he pays back the alimony and medical expenses to them.
I'm your son! Let me in!
I don't have a son like you. Go home.
No!
I'm looking forward to seeing how he'll live his life from now on.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.